as usual, if you have any problems, if you can't hear me, you can't see me, or you want me to show you something again, let me know. We're just going to start with a full warm-up. Just starting with head. What we're doing is just gentle head rolls, just slowly getting the neck warm. And we'll come the other way. And just gently looking up and down, so not jerking it, doing it very slowly, so you're not hurting the joints at all. And just side to side. So keep your shoulders down while you do these, just give you an extra stretch. And then ear to the shoulder, just tilting side to side. Okay. So hands on the shoulders. I just want you to try and make as big a circle as you can with your elbows, squeezing your shoulder blades back. They come towards the back. And coming the other way. Bring one arm across the body, keeping the shoulder down. So getting a nice stretch along this part of the shoulder. The other side. Just linking your hands behind your head. Pull your elbows back so it's opening up the chest. And just gently rotating to one side as you breathe out. And back to center as you breathe in. And the other way. This is both a chest and a spinal stretch. All right, coming back to center, feet wide. All we're doing is we're reaching up towards the ceiling with one hand and then stretching it over. So try and make sure your body doesn't roll forward. Work on the stretch down the side of the body here. And then slide the hands up and change sides. And change over. And again. Bring the hands in front of you, keeping the legs wide. I just want you to roll your body forward. So you're getting a bit of stretch up the back along the hamstrings. Just let your arms hang down, let them relax. You can either hold it in one position or you can rock back and forth on between the balls of the toes and the heels just to change that stretch in your hamstrings a bit. So staying down low, we're going to come over to one side. So bending, say, the right knee, keep the upper leg straight. So you just come to one side. Make sure your knee is in a line over your toe. And then gently walk it through to the other side. And so you're just taking your time switching through the center between the side lunges. So you should be feeling this sort of in the inside of your thighs. Turning towards the bent knee, stretching the back foot out. So you've got a long leg position here. This back leg is straight on the balls of the foot. Front knee is bent. You can support on the knee or on the ground, well, whatever combination you need. Just opening up the hip flexors as well. And then coming through the center, changing sides. Drop the knee, gently come back up to a standing position. Slowly, make sure you're not too dizzy. All right, I'm going to do some open hip rotation. So you might need to lean onto this. All we're doing, pick up the one leg and rotating it around. Just start on that. I'm going to let Kaylin into the session. So you want to try and make as big the circle as you can. You're warming up that hip flexor, letting it open wide, and then coming back the other way. One more. Dropping to the other side. So again, coming to the back. And the other way. Just keep going. Someone's trying to call me, so I just have to end that call. All right. Feet wide. All I want you to do is just some gentle hip circles. And coming back the other way. Sorry, I know the lighting in here isn't the best, so I do apologize if it keeps flaking out slightly. You can't seem to decide what color everything is today. All right, coming down to the knees. So feet underneath the hips. So you've got your hips, your knees, and your ankles all in one alignment. Just gentle bending forward and straightening at the back. You want to do this slowly. We're just waking up the joints. We don't want to jerk them about. And we're going to go on to the lower calves. So for this exercise, I want both feet pointing in the same direction. So you're facing one way, both feet pointing that direction, one foot in front of the other. I've got my right foot forward here. Just going to bend forward on the right leg, the front leg, so the back hamstring or back calf is getting a nice stretch. And come back to center. I want you to bend both knees. And this is going to stretch a slightly different area in the back leg. And then come up. Bending forward on the right leg. Back to center. Bend both knees. And come up. One more time. Forward. Center. Both knees. And up. I'm going to swap legs. Change them over or turn the other way, either way. So both legs straight. We bend forward with the front leg. The back leg's getting a stretch. Come back to center. And go straight down, bending both knees. You don't have to go far to get the stretch. Come up. Bend forward. Center. Down. And up. So that back foot, you're trying to keep the heel on the ground. So you're getting a nice stretch. Center. Both knees. And up. Just press your feet into the ground, so just the balls of the foot, starting to warm them up a little bit, so you can put a little bit of weight into them. The other side. All right. Just give your ankles a quick roll around in each direction. Just loosen them up. All right. And shake it out. All righty. So as I explained, I had to move indoors today because it's a bit wet, so some of my movements be a little bit truncated. So if you have any issues seeing what I'm doing, let me know and I'll try and display them better. Or since Kaylin's outside, I might make him do it. What I did want to do is just start through some basic footwork like we normally do. So grab whatever you're using as your Naginata today. Because of this healing, I will be going with the mop handle. So remember, heels together, toes slightly out, legs and knees all drawn in and tight, left hand loosely at the side of the body, right hand on your hip, holding your weapon. Red. Onegaishimasu. Churan no kamae. So just checking your position, make sure you've got zembute, so the back of the weapon, the back of your elbow, weapon shoulders width apart, right hand sitting where your leg meets your groin. Just a nice relaxed position. So the front hand slightly up, so that it's aiming, or what would be the edge of your weapon, aiming. End of your weapon would be aiming at your opponent's center, in this case, your center. So we're just going to do some basic footwork. So, ayumiashi, mai. Ayumiashi, ato. Ayumiashi, mai. Ayumiashi, ato. Sugiashi, mai. Sugiashi, mai. Sugiashi, ato. Sugiashi, ato. Sugiashi, mai. Sugiashi, ato. Last one doing, sorry, taking the shoes off there. Okuriashi, mai. Okuriashi, mai. Okuriashi, ato. Ato. Mai. Ato. Mai. Ato. Ato. Mai. Ato. Good. Let's see if you remember harakiashi. So this is our rotational ones. So migi or right hand, migi ni haraki. Migi ni haraki. Left hand or hidari, hidari ni haraki. Hidari ni haraki. So we're going to do fumikaeshi. So just let your hands meet at the center and then swap over. Remember, this is basically just your feet swapping position, coming to center and back, changing our kamae. So fumikaeshi. 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 Give yourself some room. Men or with it. Men. Men or with it. Men. Men or with it. Men or with it. Men. Furikaeshi. Oh, sorry, furiagate. Snail with it. Ne. 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 Sokumeno with it. So coming into hustle. Ne. Sokumeno with it. Ne. Sokumeno with it. Ne. Sokumeno with it. Ne. Snail with it. Ne. Snail with it. Ne. Snail with it. Ne. Snail with it. Ne. Furikaeshi. Meno ute. Ne. Furikaeshi. Meno ute. Ne. You can step forward or backwards with this one as well if you like. Furikaeshi. Meno ute. Ne. Furikaeshi. Meno ute. Ne. All right. Do ute. So coming into waki no gamai, hands together at center, changing sides. Even at center. Do. Do ute. So waki no gamai. Do. Waki no gamai. So I do ute. Do. Do ute. Do. Do ute. Do. Do ute. do. Good. We're just going to do Yokoburi now, so follow along as best you can. Remember, these are longer versions for all those cuts you've basically just done. So, Yokoburi, 4 cuts for each one. I'll go slowly and remind you when we're moving to next position. Yokoburi, Hajime, we start with Jogoburi, which is like furiagate, except we're going to bend down. So our front hand reaches our front leg. It's our 4th one. We're going to come into Hasso. We're going to do Nanamaburi. So it's like a hustle snare across the body. We're going to go into Yokoburi. So we're going to Waki no Gamae. Keep it horizontal as we do across the body cut. Last one for Yokoburi, but we're going to stay in Waki no Gamae. Now we're going to do Nanamaburi Shitakara, so coming from below and up, like a reverse hustle. And from here, we're going to step back with our left. We're going to Uchikaeshi, so step back, forward with the right leg. Step back, forward with the left leg. Step back, forward with the right leg. Step back, forward with the left leg. I do apologize for any bumps. I keep hitting the ceiling. All right, just roll it out. Now we've done one practice one. We're going to do that again. So again, 4 cuts with each. I'll try and keep it even and slow for you. So starting with furiagate, coming up and down. San and shi. Stay down. As you come up to hustle, Nanamaburi. Ni. San. Shi. We're going to come into Waki no Gamae, Yokoburi. Keep it horizontal all the way across. Ni. San. Shi. We're going to stay in Waki no Gamae. We're going to come sweeping from the bottom for Nanamaburi Shitakari. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. We're going to step back, bring our left foot to our right. I'm going for Uchikaeshi snake. Push back with the right leg. We're going to step forward with the left. Step back with the left. Step forward with the right. Step back with the right. Forward with the left. Good. All right. How'd everyone cope with a Yokoburi? Doing okay? Okay. Got thumbs up from Effie. That's good. No one else has damaged any ceilings?
Yeah, I was. That's why I had to abstain.
That's okay. You know the positions. You can even do all of this without a weapon if you wanted to. All right. So now I did say I wanted to review those 3 kata we've already worked through. So we're going to start with Ipponme. I'm going to start as your uchi, and you're going to be the shikata or the attacker. So I'm going to talk you through your attacks. So if we are both in Shura no Kamae, Ipponme or kata number 1, furiagate men, hustle snake. So from Chudan, you're going to come in and attack me with furiagate men. So furiagate men, I block. You're going for hustle snake because my leg is open. I block. You're going to stay in that hustle snake position. I step off the line. I do hustle men. You're going to keep where you are. I'm going to retreat 2 steps each knee. You're now going to step back and change sides coming into Chudan. Step back, hands together, step forward. And now I walk you backward 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. Going to do that again. So we're in Chudan, you go furiagate men. You do hustle snake. You stay there as I come back. I do hustle men. I retreat, ich, ni. You step back, changing sides, coming into Chudan with me, and I walk you back 4 ayumeashi. Ich, ni, san, shi. I'm going to get you to change over and try the uchi roll. So in this case, you're now going to be what I was doing. So as they come for furagate men, you step back and block high. So block your head. They come in for your snake. So you're going to turn 180 degrees and push the weapon out, or the butt of your weapon out, to protect your leg. From there, you step out and back to your left, bringing the weapon back into hustle. And you're going to come in and do hustle men. You'll take 2 steps backwards. As you go down on the first step, you're going to let the left hand slide. Go back to chudan, ich, ni. I will change positions, come to chudan, and then you'll walk forwards for the steps. Ich, ni, san, shi, to return us to center. So, coming from chudan, both together. So I'm coming forward for furagate men. You're going to step back and block men. I'm coming into hustle. You're going to turn 180 degrees and block snare. You're going to step out and back to your left. Bring your hands up into hustle. You're going to attack my men, which is now open, so hustle men. You're going to take 2 steps backwards, sliding your naginata down to my waist as you do so. So 2 steps, ich, ni. You wait there in chudan. I step back. I bring my hands together. I step forward to meet you in chudan. You're going to push me back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. We are going to do that one again. I am just going to, there we go. Making sure it's a bit quieter for you all. So we're going to do that once more. So again, you are going to be the receiver. I'm going to be the attacker. We start in chudan. I'm coming for furagate men. Step back and block men. Men. I'm coming into hustle. I'm going to go for your snake. Turn and block snake. Net. I'm going to stay here. You're going to retreat back 1 big step to your left. Come into hustle, men. You're going to retreat 2 steps, coming to chudan. I then withdraw. I change sides, meet you in chudan, and you're going to push me back 4 steps. Good. Does anyone have any questions or issues with Ipponme? Anything at all? Okay, looking good. Right, we're going to go straight on to Nihonme, which is basically reverse. So again, you're going to be the shikata. You're going to be the attacker first. We'll both start in chudan. You're going to go furagate snare. So come for me, furagate snare, and I block. My head is now open. You're going to go hustle men. You're going to wait there. I step out. I do hustle snare. I retreat, bring my weapon back up to chudan. Ich, ni. You step back to center. You step forward into chudan no kamae. And I walk you backwards 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. Again, we're in chudan. You go furagate snare. Now you go and go hustle men. You wait in position. I retreat. I go for hustle snare. I walk back. Ich, ni. You pull back. Step forward into chudan. And I walk you back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. We're going to reverse roles. You're now going to be the senior or the uchi. I'm going to be the junior, the shikata or attacker. So for this time, they're coming for furagate snare first. You pull up with your right hand to block gedan. So your right arm is basically rotating up close to 180 degrees, and letting it slide through the left hand so it's defending your leg. So from chudan, step back into gedan. They're coming for men next. So we're going to turn 180 degrees and block with the side that's already up. From here, again, we step out to the left. Much easier to come into hustle here. And then we're going hustle snare, because that is the leg that's open, or the target that's open. 2 steps back, coming to chudan. Ich, ni. I step back, I come forward into chudan, and you walk me back 4 steps. So you're going to walk forward. Ich, ni, san, shi. All right. So I will do the attacking roll now. So both in chudan. I'm coming for furagate snare. You step back and block in gedan. I come into hustle. I'm going hustle men. You're going to turn 180 degrees and block men. You're going to step out to your left, come into hustle, and you're going for hustle snare. Retreat 2 steps, coming straight back to chudan with your arms. I pull back. I meet you in chudan, and you're going to push me back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. And again, I go for furiagete snare. You step back and block snare. I come into hustle. You turn and block men. Going to step out to your left, come into hustle, and go for snare. Retreat 2 steps, come into chudan. I step back. I meet you in chudan, and you push me back 4 steps. Good. Any questions about Nihonme? Yeah, any questions at all? No? All right. Number 5. So again, I'm going to start as the uchi or the senior. You're going to start as the shikata or attacker. For number 5, you start in chudan. You come into waki no gamai. You're going to strike the door. I'm then going to push your weapon down into your right, which means you're going to have momentum to go into Uchikaeshi men. You're basically going to wait there while I smack it out. And then I go for your door. As I step back and come forward into chudan, you're going to drop your weapon to meet me in chudan, and then walk back 4 steps. Okay. So this one's a little bit easier to walk through than to just talk through. So you're going to start in chudan. You're going to go into waki no gamai, so flip the naginata over. You're going to come in for my door. So you're going to step in attack door. I'm going to defend. I'm then going to harai and push your weapon down into your right. You're going to do furikaeshi men. My head is now open. And I block. Oh, sorry, I block. From here, you wait as I bring my feet together, rotate my weapon on my body, and a push. That's going to open up your door. I then pull back to ski preparation, step off with ski. I take 2 steps back, come into chudan or waki, ni. As I step forward, you start bringing your weapon down into chudan no kamai, so we meet together. And which side am I? I push you back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. So we'll do that again. Start in chudan. Might do it from the start this time. You go into waki no gamai, and you're going straight for my door. And I step back and block. I'm going to harai your weapon. You're going to furikaeshi men. Step back and block. I'm going to otoshi. I'm going into ski preparation. Ski. 2 steps back. Ich, ni. As I come over the top here, you start bringing yours down into chudan no kamai. And I walk you back 4 steps. Now, before we swap sides, does anyone have any questions about the shikata side for number 5? This was a newer one for you. It's got a few more complexities. Any questions or people? Apart from potentially hitting the roof? No? All good? All right. We're going to swap it over. So your role now will be the receiver. You start in chudan. As they come through, you're going to pull back with your right hand. A bit like you'll do your men blocks, but lower. So you're defending here. You're then going to do a harai, which basically means letting your left hand slide down the weapon as you angle it back towards your hip. And this is what gets you your momentum as you step back. So step back and harai. They're coming in for men, so you step up and bring your weapon up to defend. From here, you bring your right foot to your left. You move your weapon up into this position, so the right hand is higher. And then as you step back to the left leg, you're going to rotate this over your body to smack them out of the way. From here, let your left hand raise up, the right hand come to your groin. so no higher than your shoulder. And you're going to step through, pushing off with no Uchikaeshi to do tsuki into my center. As you go, take 2 steps backwards, throw the weapon back into waki no gomai. Then from here, you step over with the left foot and through, coming into chudan. I'm sorry, the lighting does some terrible things when I get that close. So let's walk this one through slowly. We both start in chudan no kamae. I go into waki no gomai. You stay where you are. You're going to step back and defend your door. You're going to use the harai, so let your left hand slide down as you knock my weapon down to my right here. I come through, you're going to step back and block your men. You're now going to turn 180 degrees, knocking my weapon out to your left. You're going to pull your left arm up into ski preparation. Your right hand should be down by your groin, and then you're going to step through, thrusting at my center. 2 steps back, throwing the weapon through into waki no gomai. Step through with your left foot, so coming through, face the other side, meet in chudan no kamae, and you're going to walk me back 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. We'll do that again. Both in chudan. I come into waki no gomai. You're going to step back and defend your door. You're going to give me a harai, letting your left hand slide down. You're going to step back and block men. You're going to turn 180 degrees, whacking or a toshi, my weapon out to your left. Pull your weapon up with your left hand, so your left arm shoulder height, key preparation. And then you're going to thrust the door. Step back 2 steps, bring your weapon back into waki no gomai. Step through with your left leg, bring the weapon over the top. So you come into chudan. And push me back 4 steps. Good. Any questions about that side of number 5? Okay. So we're going to learn a little technique here. It's basically preparation for looking at number 3, because number 3 is, to be honest, it's almost identical to number 5. It's just the finishing by the uchi that changes. So what we're going to learn here is makiotoshi. So you can come up close to the camera for this. You can be kneeling. It doesn't matter. This is all about handwork more than anything else. So the difference between a harai and a maki. So harai, now let's just show you with this because it makes sense. If I'm doing harai, all I'm doing is I'm basically deflecting it out of position. It can be on an angle, however I like, but the weapon stays in the same plane. So this doesn't turn at all. It just stays straight on. So I harai that way, I can deflect up. With a makiotoshi, we're taking advantage of the curvature of the blade. So again, as I said, if I'm doing a harai, my weapon is moving pretty much parallel. It's moving in a horizontal plane. With a makiotoshi, I'm using my left hand or my back hand to rotate the blade so it turns up, catches over the top of their weapon, and then I harai. So this technique is, it's not just deflecting, but it's catching it, making sure it can't escape, and then you've actually got a lot more power to move their weapon. Michael and Kaylin can probably attest to when you've actually received a nice makiotoshi, you can, if you're not careful, lose your weapon. Michael, Kaylin, anything to say on the topic? Yeah. So the technique here, and I will show you using my lovely broom handle, because I've nicely fixed this piece of black tape. So this is going to be the top of my weapon. So I would normally have this facing up towards me. So this way, my blade would be curving up towards my head. So when I do the makiotoshi, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that piece of black tape comes from the top and rotates down and over. So if you've got something on whatever you're using, even if it's the mop head, so if the mop head or broom is vertical, have that vertically up. I want you to try turning it so it's 180 degrees the other way. And you're going to get that from your back hand. So this backhand here, you're taking your little fingers and you're going, you're curling them in. I mean, it's not that they're not already on here, but your grip is going from the little finger all the way up to your index finger and then closure on your thumb. And even with something round like this rather than the oval, you can see again, I've got the tape sitting right on the top. If I do the rotation, this is just with my back hand, I've rotated it almost 180 degrees. And that's all with my back hand. So just tripping over something. So again, my tape is on the top. My left hand's doing nothing, it's just sitting underneath it. My back hand is going little finger, index, middle, and down. So that's little ring, middle, index, thumb. So from the back of the hand all the way through. So again, just mark where the top of your weapon is, and then keep your front hand or left hand relaxed and curl from the little finger. And just see if you can get that 180 degree rotation. So you'll also notice that as I do that, my wrist rolls a little bit. So in the normal position, it's kind of this section of your wrist is sitting on your hip. And so you've got a little bit of an angle out here. So a bit hard lighting, but there's my wrist is not flat to my body. My arm isn't flat to the body, it's out. So when I do that rotation, I'm also bringing it in to my thigh. And that's another part of what helps with that whole Makiotoshi rotation. Okay, so basically, little Mexican wave with your fingers, wee, wee, and clutch. And as you do so, Mexican wave and flex forward. Mexican wave, flex. Ooh. You do that enough times. This is quite a nice workout for your wrist. So you can do this with a towel or something else. It's basically like a ringing action. So ring that towel. And that's what is going to help you get that maki rotation. Now, the front hand and leg are actually going to be doing something. You're actually going to be moving as you do maki. So you basically curl it over first, capture it with the maki. And then as you step back, you're going to let your left hand slide down. So we curl with the fingers, step back, left hand comes down. And there's a lot of power you're generating. Okay. So that's Makiotoshi. Does anyone have any questions or queries or needs a bit more of a demonstration or explanation? It does take a while for it to feel comfortable and natural, so don't stress. All right, no takers on that? Okay, so we are going to have a look at kata number 3. To be honest, as I said, if you are the attacker, you do exactly the same as you did. You come into waki no gamai, you go for do, they give you a harai, you go into Uchikaeshi men. This time, instead of that atoshi with 180 degrees, they're doing a makiotoshi and then attack. So let's have a look at the receiver's role, because this is where it changes. We start in shura no kamai. They come for do, so we step back and block do. We give them our normal harai, so step back with and throw it back to our left and down. They do Uchikaeshi men. We step back and receive men, as we did before. This time, we're doing the makiotoshi, so we rotate with the left hand fingers. As we step back with the right, we throw it down. And then we come straight into furiagate, men. And then we take 2 steps backwards, come into churan, ich, ni. They come back into churan. And the receiver, so we walk them back. Ich, ni, san, shi. And that's it. That is the only difference you have between number 3 and 5, how the receiver finishes. So I held this up because maki is a little bit harder to demonstrate sometimes. So let's walk through the receiver roll again. We start in shura no kamai. They go into waki, they're coming for do, so we step back and receive do. We do a harai to our left and down. They come in for our men, we step back and block men. We're now going to roll our fingers, so the weapon comes over, the curl comes over. We harai down. And now we're going to step through into furiagate men. me. 2 steps back. Ich, ni. They come to chudan and we walk them 4 steps. Ich, ni, san, shi. So that is kata number 3, basically. I'm not going to make you do the attackers roll because from their perspective, it really doesn't change anything. Does anyone have any questions about number 3? Oh, I see Eva coming up. Excellent.
Sorry, when you do the my at the end, is your weapon upside down? Or do you roll
No,
it back again?
You do take it back to position. So are you talking after we do the Makiotoshi?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, yes, and this is where it can get confusing without having an actual Naginata because you can't see where the blade goes. So if I've got my Naginata here, and sorry, I might things. So if I rotate it over and down, it is currently facing down after the maki. So you can see the curve is down. What it means is as I step forward into Furiagate, is I actually rotate it in my hands so that the blade is pointing back up again. So we go from down here, and I just rotate back with my wrists and fingers back up into correct position. So from then on, it's actually facing the correct way. And again, this is going to be harder because without a Naginata or a real reference point, it is very easy to lose sight of where that is. You can do what I do, which is put a piece of tape on one side to kind of denote the up side of the weapon. So again, if I do Makiotoshi here, that comes over. As I step forward, I'm rotating in my hand, so you can see the tape's coming up, and it's now facing straight back up. So you can use something like that, like a dot of paint, whatever you've got on hand. So you know where up is, and you can get used to rolling it forward to the maki, and then using your fingers to rotate it back to come back into alignment. Does that make sense? Excellent. Any other questions about number 3? No? Okay. So we've got 15 minutes left. I kind of do want to run through Uchikaeshi. I know I didn't have it on the list, but I do want to make sure that people remember it. So Uchikaeshi, Furiagate men, hustle men, hustle men, hustle snare, hustle. So we're just going to run through that briefly. So we've got the pattern. So starting in Shura no Kamae, Furiagate men, men, hustle men, men, hustle men, men, hustle snare, snare, hustle snare. Tsugiashi back into Shura no Kamae. All right, we'll do that one more time. I'll face forward. Furiagate men, men, hustle men, men, hustle men, men, hustle snare, snare, hustle snare, snare, and sugi. What I'd like to do, in fact, is actually teach you the other half of it. Normally with beginners, we only really expect you to learn going forwards part, but you've all been doing really well, and you can do another challenge. So Uchikaeshi actually consists of doing this forwards and backwards. So let's see how we go. So we'll start with the forwards motion again, starting in Shudan. Furiagate men, men, hustle men, men, hustle men, men, hustle snare, snare, hustle snare. We still tsugiashi backwards to Chudan. We're going to do another Furiagate men going forward. Men, we come into hustle. This time, we're actually going to step back. So our left foot is going to go behind us. We're going to step back and hit men. We're going to come back into hustle. Our right leg, we're going to turn towards our right leg, back towards our right leg. You hustle men. We come into hustle. We're going to bring the left foot around behind us and we'll do hustle snare. Bring the back into hustle. Left foot, right foot goes behind us, hustle snare. Tsugiashi backwards. One final Furiagate men forwards. Men. And then Tsugiashi. So it's a much longer piece. Basically, all your Furiagate men, there are 3 Furiagate men, they all go forward. The hustle snares will go forward and then back, or Hasumen and Hasunes will go forwards and backwards. There's always a Tsugiyashi at the end of each set. So the idea is that you're showing you can do the technique backwards and forwards. Again, it's a little bit harder if you don't have a lot of room, so you might not necessarily feel the going backwards, but even if you have to put down the weapon and get used to the body movement, that's fine. So I'm going to move back a little bit further in the garage so you can see what's happening. So we start in Chura. You go Furiagate men, men, hustle men, men, hustle men coming forward, men, hustle snare coming forward, men, hustle snare, men. Tsugiyashi back to Chura. Now, if you need to move as far forward as you can, well, not quite as far forward, now you're going to do another Furiagate men coming forward. Men, coming to hustle. Now we're going to step back and do hustle men. We're going to step back and do hustle men. We're going to step back and do hustle snare. We're going to step back and do hustle snare. Tsugiyashi back to Chura. And a final Furiagate men forwards. Men. Tsugiyashi. We'll do that one more time. So, starting in Chura. Furiagate men forward. Men. Hustle men. Men. Hustle men. Men. Hustle snare. Snare. Hustle snare. Tsugiyashi. Furiagate men forwards. Men. Hustle men backwards. Men. Hustle men backwards. Men. Hustle snare backwards. Snare. Hustle snare backwards. Tsugiyashi back to Chudan. Furiagate men forward. Men. Tsugiyashi back to Chudan. How did we go? All right. There's a lot to it, but it's the same techniques. It's just now we're learning to move backwards. Did anyone have any problems with the going backwards steps, though? Apart from, spatial issues? No? Okay. All right, so we've got about 10 minutes left. So we're going to go through a little bit of Waza. We're going to start with a good old basic men snare Waza just to warm up. So I will be attacking. You're going to come from Chudan and step back, do a solid men block, and then step out to your left to do snare or hustle snare. Okay. So when you see me attack, you receive, and then try and come back for the. So we're both starting in Chudan. Men. Good. Back to Chudan. Men. And again. Men. One last one. Men. Okay. This time, I want you to block Sendanmaki men block. So you step back, block men. And from here, I want you to step through with the right foot and sweep my leg with the handle of your weapon. So you're going for a snare block on the other side. So for you, that's going to look like step back and block, step through to snare. Okay? Right, starting in Chudan. Men. This one's a little bit harder because you are having to do 180 rotations, so it might take a little bit longer. Men. Men. Last one. Men. Good. All right. So this time, I'm going to go as if I'm going for your snare. Now, the first block I'm going to get you to do is a gedan block. So you pull up with your right hand to block gedan. And from there, what I want you to do is step around with your right. And basically, you're throwing the weapons through your hand, extending it out through the right hand to go for snare. So it's the same kind of snare attack, but you're going to have to do a little bit of kurikomi dashi. So from your perspective, it's gedan, and then use your left hand to push it through your right hand as you go for snake. So I'm going for your snake, snake. Good. Snake. Snake. Last one. Snake. Okay. So again, I'm going to go for snake. I'm going for hustle snake this time. So what you'll see is me coming into hustle and coming down for snake. We're going to try something a little bit different for you this time. So as they come down for your, I come down for your snake. What I want you to do, I'm going to have to show some leg for this, is you're actually going to you can either pull the foot in, and I'll just raise that, so you can either go in, or you can lift it up and then come in. This is a bit more stable. But all you're doing is you're taking your leg out of the danger zone. So retreat, or lift it up and out and back. And then you're going to step forward. What you're going to do with that forward strike is actually come from my men. So you go, bring it up as if you're doing furiagate, men. Because I'm down here coming for your snake. So if you avoid, you can come right down on top of it. So just practice that motion coming up. So it's the same as doing furiagate, but that front leg, that left leg, is coming out of reach. Okay, so I'm going to do hustle snare on you from Chudan. When you see me attack snare, you're going to avoid an attack. Snare. 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 Last one. Snare. Good. All right, checking the time. I've got a little bit of time left. Michael, Kaylin, do you have any suggestions for a particular waza you'd like to get them to try?
No, but it's actually good to do it in complete safety, because usually we're a bit afraid of either getting our leg whacked or that is going to take too long to do. And actually you find that it's that some of those techniques, which I wouldn't have done normally, like that swap from there to there, from the gedan to there, I probably wouldn't do it in training, but having tried it now, actually it's quite viable. Yeah.
And that's a big thing, is that it's partly feeling confident with a move. A lot of the time we stick to our favorites because there's something we know we can do. We know we can do them at speed, but it can also prevent us from trying out other things. So a lot of the time I will try new things with all of you. We'll start off slow and then we'll speed up. But again, in this environment, you don't have to fear the fact of the other person. You can see how well you can time against me. I was doing some very fast attacks just so that you were having to react fast.
Yeah.
But again, it's a very safe way to do it. If I was doing this person to person, I would not be doing them these fast against you unless I had great belief that you can do them at that pace.
Yeah.
And that's normally for me just judging how everyone reacts. So no, it's good that you're feeling more comfortable trying out something like that now.
Yeah.
How about you, Kaylin? Any favorite waza you want to get them to experience today? No?
He's on mute.
That's okay. I thought he was just showing it rather than.
Yeah. Yeah, men, alright, men.
Ah,
Men.
okay.
Straightforward.
All right. So this one's a little bit more of an advanced technique, but again, it is kind of fun. So, and Kaylin, feel free to correct if there's a particular variant you want to do. The idea here is someone is coming from your men, you're blocking, harai, and then coming into men. Or are you thinking of a more smoother variant?
You can. You can just. You can harai immediately. I think that you can wait until the last moment when they're attacking, strike it out of the way, and then move in for men.
Yeah. So this is something we've been trying out. Well, when we were able to do things face to face, is actually trying to work with the momentum of someone else's attacks. This makes more sense, I think, when you're doing or receiving a hustle men cut. But we can certainly try a few variants. So just to start off with, you start in Shudan.
Right.
They're coming for hustle men. You come up harai, or you come up and harai at the same time. So he comes up, harai down or across, either is fine. So harai, and then you can either step straight into men, or you can reach over in men. So there's a difference between doing like a full huriagate, which is fine if you've got plenty of time, or after the harai, you can literally just bring it over the top as you step forward. So normally in Shia, you do end up with a very short footwork, short arm work, and that's a little bit more allowable in this. If you want to take a bit more time, so what you do is you step back and block, you then harai, and you can do a full huriagate men. So whichever, you can do that one, or as you step back, you harai immediately, and then bring it over the top as you step. So feel free to play with either variant. I'll just pop Kaylin on mute so that it doesn't jump spotlight. And we'll just do that. So I'm going to do hustle men for you, and you can choose any variant you like. So, men. 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 Do a couple more. Men. Men. Good. All right, just relax. We're pretty much on the hour, so just roll out your shoulders, loosen them up. Feel free to come forward, take yourselves off mute. So yeah, we got through a few things today. Now we've had a look at making sure we've consolidated 1, 2, and 5. We've learnt 3, which is basically as I said, a variant of 5. We've gone through all the footwork, all your basic cuts. You've learned Makiotoshi, a couple of new Waza. So that's a nice load of things. Yokoburi as well. So next week, I'll probably focus a little bit more on 3 and 5, just to again consolidate them. I might add 4 into the mix, just because why not? Potentially look at the blocks for the full Uchikaeshi, because the blocks isn't something we've spent too much time on, and the Uchikaeshi ones in particular are quite difficult sometimes to get right, especially both forward and going back. Did anyone have any comments or questions or things they'd like to see next week?
This is probably really advanced, but you know how we were lifting the leg and the other person was doing the snare. It would be good to know if someone does lift their leg, what you can do as the attacker to maybe get the back leg, or how to counteract someone lifting their leg.
That one, that's quite difficult. When you do a snake cut, you have committed quite forward. It takes a fair bit of control and balance. You could try and push yourself further forward to get the back leg. So if you've gone for, I mean, there's always the chance that if you were the person doing the snake cut, you were cutting too deep to begin with. So you might accidentally get their back leg anyway. That's always a possibility. But it is very hard. There's almost nothing you can do except try and save yourself at that point.
Oh,
because
that's
your
awesome.
motion
Okay.
is forward. Yeah. But again, it's about motion at that point. Because once I've done snake, my weight is down here. So if I can see them coming up above me, I can try and push off. I can't really go for the snake again at that point. It's not a nice thing.
You can try and shift the weapon upwards to block, I think. You could try and shift the weapon upwards, but that's it.
Absolutely. So I'm here, I could block, I could step back and block. I could, if I have enough, so even after the snake, try and come in to their snake with the other side of the weapon. But a lot of these things they're very hard to replicate in the sense that when you're in Shiai, a lot of people start to panic. And they go into wild fighter mode, and they don't necessarily do things that make sense anymore. And technique goes out the window. So it's a really good to actually use a bit of Waza time. And I do tend to pair people up and say, look, maybe do some basics once and then try something new. See what you would do from this situation. How would you get out of it? And we come up with some interesting combinations that way. And you start finding things you're comfortable with, or movements that gel better for you, or ones that you go, no, I'm never going to do that because it doesn't work for my body. So yeah, I mean, if someone's coming down when you've done a snake cut, you kind of just want to get out of the way so that they, at least if they hit you, it's not going to be considered a clean point. So yeah.
No, that's fair enough. I'm just trying, I guess what I'm trying to do is work out what the next steps are after some of these sequences. That's all. And trying to see what I can do as a progression.
And that's a good thing. That's, you know, you want to be thinking not just what do I do with this? You need to be thinking, what can I do next? Or what's coming next? And that is a big problem for people when they learn things as a pattern. Their mind stops at the end of the pattern because they go, it's done. And so when something new happens, they have the harder time going, oh, react. So at one point when you're in the dojo and we're fairly comfortable with your safety and your skills, or your partner's armored, we have what's called Kakari Gekko, which is basically where you have a senior person create openings and you just attack. Or there's other types of Keiko where you can both be making attacks at the same time and trying to defend. And that's a bit more, that's Jugeko, which is a bit more even. So it's about you both trying techniques about someone trying to win. And that's where you can go, oh, I don't know what situation is coming because I don't know what they're going to do. Occasionally I'll set up some Waza where I'll say, okay, whoever is the attacker, you're going to make 2 attacks. You're not going to tell your partner what they are. And so the partner has to try and block, and then after the second one, make a counterattack. You can't plan for it. And it's just a way of breaking through that cycle of, here is a set pattern, that is all I do, to, oh, I need to be actively looking at the situation and going, what can I do now? Or what can I do for the next several steps? So it's great that you're already starting to think that way. That's pretty much where you want to be going, because it starts you on that track of listening to your body, looking at the situation, and making it a bit more seamless, rather than I do this, and now I do that, and then they're going to do this, and now I will do that in return. It's much more instinctive at that point.
Thanks,
That's okay. Yeah. Any other thoughts for what people might want to see next week? Or do people want a week off? They're tired after grand final long weekend.
Yeah.
Party pose tonight.
Party pose.
Party bye. Right, I'm going to stop the recording now so that people can chat freely. Here we go.